love that song.
I love that song too.
I freaking love jazz instruments. It makes me want to move my shoulders. I want to have some
I
shoulder
was
pads
moving
right
my
now.
shoulders.
I was moving more than my shoulders.
Oh, hey.
Whole
Hey!
body movement.
Welcome to episode number 3 of What the FAQ. It's me, Patricia, and
Ashley.
Stephanie.
you guys do a great job of hyping yourselves up.
Sup?
That's because we were trying to body roll and say our name at the
You
same
can
time.
only body roll and do so much at a time.
It's true.
All right, okay.
I roll.
I feel like that's my response to
I
half the things we all say
roll.
to each other. What's episode 3? We're making it. We did more than just the 1 episode, the 2 episodes.
Woo!
We're on 3.
We're
Get
more
it?
than a
Get it? Get
statistic.
it?
I don't know.
Well, we're so excited that you're listening because that means that you're actually enjoying what we're saying,
Or
you're
maybe not.
or you're,
but
you're
just,
Or
Or
just
we
feel an
decided to
obligation at
listen.
this point to keep going,
Or
which
it's a-
I completely
it's a
understand.
punishment. Every week I tie myself up in my bed and I listen to this podcast.
First of all, if you're doing that, how are you playing it? Are you playing it through Alexa? Like, let's talk about the logistics.
Who tied you up?
Can you securely tie yourself up?
What type of knots are you using?
Now we're getting into nautical questions.
Are you asking?
Watch out for the Halloween episode.
Watch out.
That's like the tagline of our whole show. Watch out for the Halloween episode.
Just constantly, we'll never actually get to the Halloween episode.
Well, it's not far away. Right now it is only a couple months away, so we're not far from there. I think we're all looking forward to that because we all have a big interest in that area. But today though, we have 3 new questions coming at you. We realized that our last episode it was a little bit deeper than we usually try to go to, but
Sorry.
it's okay. So today we're trying to go with some really lighthearted ones just to keep you guys positive, and we think a lot of you are probably listening to this on the way to work, and if you're not, then you're doing it wrong. Just kidding.
True.
True. Okay.
I mean, you do that X mark sound that you get in like Family Feud. It didn't work.
Okay, we're not noisemakers. At least I'm not. Anyway, we have a lot of good questions, but I just want to check in with you guys. What's new with you? How you doing?
I'm great. I was just describing my friend as cake, like what she would be like as cake, and I feel like I sold you up.
We married off Stephanie to one of my friends on the internet.
I am now internet married, and my parents are going to be thrilled, but less thrilled in the fact that I am now 2nd bottle of wine deep. Which is how most of my mistakes or happy happenstance happens.
Happy
Happenstance happens. Yeah, so things are great right now.
I mean, we married you off in a solid 10 minutes. I'd say that's
I know.
efficiency at its
Oh
best.
my goodness, that is gotta be some sort of record.
Match.com, you have nothing on us.
You have
You got
nothing on us.
nothing.
That's cute,
I
Match.com.
am
What the
internet married bitches. Sorry.
Yeah, what's your return rate, Match.com?
I met you.
WTFAQ podcast.com can marry you off on the internet in less than 10 minutes.
Boom.
Sample of 1.
100% rate.
100% match rate.
Anyway, if you've made it past this intro so far, thank you for sticking around. And
Also sorry.
But you're welcome at the same
But
time.
you're welcome.
Super welcome.
So we are so excited to be here again. I think we are really enjoying recording anyway. So even if we don't have a lot of people who are as excited to listen as we are to record, it's okay. But I will feel better if we have listeners.
I mean, but if you have any questions or you want to double click into something that we're saying, you should let us know.
I also feel like that term double click is very like tech.
Oh, I know. It's so disgusting.
Let's take
I
this
threw up in my mouth.
offline.
I'm sorry. Synergy just threw up in my mouth. Swallowed it
Let's
and threw up
ideate on
again.
this and
Let's collaborate.
yeah.
Fuck.
Ugh. Have you seen the show Happy-ish? It only lasted a season because I don't think enough tech bros were watching it.
I don't even know what that show is.
Wait, what
Oh,
show is
it was
this?
incredible. It was called Happy-ish. I can't remember the main guy's name. He's a British actor, and he's at an ad agency in New York, and they literally like destroyed an entire conference room and called it like the ideation room. And it was just everything you would expect at an ad agency or a tech company that thought they were better than they were.
Oh my!
And
I
then
haven't
him
heard
just
of
trying
any
to-
of those companies.
Yeah, seriously. And then him just trying to like make it through the day to get home to his wife and his kid, and they lived in Woodstock, New York. And it was pretty incredible of just like his troubles of just getting there, dealing with the bullshit that was being there with like a slide and everybody thinking, oh my god, there's a slide, this is the best thing ever. And it's like, no, we're here to work and do a good job. This is just a distraction.
Could you
And
imagine
then him
if we
just
had a slide
leaving.
at work though? Like right now, we currently sit on the 12th floor of a building.
I think I would have the exact same remark as this guy in Happy-ish of like, what the fuck is this? Why is this? I am here to do my job and leave.
True.
This is not my life. This is not an adult playground. This is a job. And
Okay.
it should only be that.
I would be so excited, and I would be so happy to like be at the end of the day where I can just like ride the slide.
I would heckle you the entire way down.
Glad to. Would you be behind me on the slide though?
Just yelling at you from behind you.
You're like, you idiot, taking the slide.
God
That's
damn
your worst
it.
heckle. Is that your worst heckle? Is it like the first episode when you're like, "Boom, mother effers"?
You got to get better at heckling.
You mofu.
Like you're not super nice. It's like, whoa, what a heckle.
Whoa.
Actually, my mom loves to, when she's having road rage or whatever, which rarely happens, or someone's rude to her, her insults are the best because they're not useful. So one of them was her pointing her finger at someone and was like, "Day of the Rude."
What?
Day of the Rude.
Day of the Rude?
Yeah, like, oh my gosh, the biggest insult I have towards you.
I have
is that
one-
you're a rude person.
I have one really quick story on
Yes,
that.
please.
I was driving in San Francisco right after college, and somebody cut me off, and I wasn't very good at heckling or displaying rude gestures. And in my attempt to flip them off, I gave them the horns as in a rock-on symbol. It did not work. Nothing came of it. They thought I was cheering them on.
Yes, keep cutting everyone else off.
Keep
You're
going.
right.
Yeah, it
Were
was
you
a
saying
mess.
this with your callous foot?
No. It was my normal
I
hand.
love it. I just love it. Rock on, man.
I tried to flip them off. I had not done it enough to be experienced, but I was very experienced in the rock on.
How often do you do the rock on?
Often.
Do you know what had been? It would have been worse though if you would have included the thumbs. So I was like, "I love you."
I
instead.
did not do I love you. It was a straight rock on.
I love you.
Rock on Cleveland. No, it was a straight just the horns to a cab, and he was very confused.
He's like, "This girl gets it.
I love it.
She gets it.
She knows what's going on with this."
Yes, oh boy.
That's a fantastic story.
Oh, man.
Anyway, we have 3 questions this week that I think you guys will really like. They're a little bit more creative than we've done before. But today we're going to start with Stephanie, who is yet to start the podcast.
Because I'm usually more intense. Okay, I have a much
Yes,
more.
pump it up.
Yeah, I have my longhorns on right now.
I got the horns going.
Hook 'em horns.
Okay, so my question this week is: if you had to pick a game show or reality TV show to be on, what would it be? And if it was a reality TV show, what would your tagline be? For example, a Real Housewives tagline. Anybody like to start? I already have my answer
Go
ready.
ahead
I
and
think
share.
you gotta
Get us-
go.
Get
You
us
gotta go.
going.
I would be on Wheel of Fortune.
Ooh.
I tried out for Wheel of Fortune.
What?
Oh my god! I knew we were best friends.
Who are you?
Well, let me tell you what. Okay, it sounds a lot cooler than it really is.
No, it's gonna be as
No.
cool as I think it is.
So trying out for Wheel of Fortune is more luck based than anything.
That's the problem.
Yeah,
That's the
that's why
problem.
you get idiots on there who have no idea what.
When
the
you
words
yell
are.
out at your TV, it's not the same as if you spin the wheel and it's actually your turn.
Not even. So what they do is there's a big line, like you get to like a gymnasium, for example, like at a university is what ours was at, and we got in line. The line was like a line for donuts in San Francisco.
Thanks for the
Do we
touch.
like donuts that much?
I
Do you
just-
mean cronuts?
I accidentally just groped Ashley under the table with
Oh,
my
yeah.
my
I
hand
liked it a
movements.
little bit. Thank
Yeah.
you.
So that's real. So we got in line, and it was we're so excited. We're like, what's it going to be like? But they give you a ticket and you write your name on it. And then they put this ticket, you know, those big things where they spin the tickets around.
Mm-hmm.
They
like the raffle bin thing.
Yes, it's a
Or
raffle
the
bin.
lottery?
Yeah, basically. So then they're like, Bob Jeffries, come on down.
Fucking
Would you
Bob
like
Jeffries.
to? Would you like to be on Try This?
He's the worst.
The
Yeah,
worst.
Bob Jeffries. And then they draw like 3 or 5 people, I don't know, and they bring them down. So they have like a fake setup stage, whatever. They make them do a really quick round. So everyone's just in there waiting in line, like, oh, this is so boring, waiting. But then they give you like pens that say Wheel of Fortune on them to make you happy in the meantime. So you're like, oh, I guess whatever.
Gotta rile you back up.
Yeah. So they just do these like fake. They do like one round things with people over and over and over. And I think they just take notes. Like, number one, are they attractive? Do they look good on stage? Are
That
they not?
doesn't matter. Have you seen the show?
Wheel of Fortune is who really is their demographic?
Everybody.
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 But you don't really. You go to try out for the show. You don't really get a try out. It's still luck based at that point.
Completely.
Yeah, but it made me really upset. I was like, but I can answer all these before everybody. Put me on the show. And they're like, no, we do not have money with you, you know?
I mean, it's bullshit when you're like, I remember watching the show with my brother and all they had was like a P and a C. And I was like, Appalachian Mountains! And got it before anybody. Oh, yeah. I fucking destroyed that. But if it was not my turn, I would not have succeeded. It is completely luck-based. It doesn't matter how much you yell at a screen. If it's not your actual turn and spinning and you don't get a bankrupt, it's not going to be as fulfilling. But I would still choose Wheel of Fortune over any other show. Followed second by...
Price is Right.
No. Not Price is Right. Family Feud.
Ooh.
But I would not do the bullshit of good answer. If somebody gives a shit answer, I'm going to straight out say, your answer sucked. You're not my family anymore.
Banish them from the family.
Get out of here. As I just boo them off the stage.
Meanwhile, it's your grandma. It's like, boo, grandma, get out of here.
What if I don't have any grandmas left?
Just hypothetically let it happen.
Hypothetically, I would boo my grandmother off the stage. Realistically, there's no grandmas. But I have full faith in both my parents and my brothers to do a good job. And my in-laws. I feel like they would do incredible on Family Feud. And they would be okay with me saying, not a good answer, you piece of shit. They'd be like, I respect your feedback.
Sometimes I get lost in the loop of like watching YouTube videos of like the worst answers on Family Feud.
Oh
like,
my god,
people are
it's
so
something
dumb.
else, huh? It just gives you a little bit of notoriety beyond that particular episode of Family Feud.
Which one's the best one? Did you see the one about like another word for mother?
What was
It
the
was like
answer?
mama. It's like
Stop
you
saying
said-
mama.
You said that.
Yeah.
You said these things already 16 times. And she's like, Ma?
It's a little rough. But
There's
I
one saw-
have... Oh, sorry.
There's
go
one
on.
I saw. I was like, "What's the best holiday or whatever?" And they're like, "Tuesday."
Oh my god.
Like, okay, I could do so much better than this
Okay,
person.
I gotta ask, are these the same people who are asking, like in our episode 2, is water wet?
Is water wet?
It might be, is water wet? I would love to hear their Real Housewives taglines, if they have any.
True.
Do you have a Real Housewives tagline if you were to be a Real Housewife? I have a couple, maybe-ish.
I think you should share because I haven't watched a lot of it.
I honestly don't know. I feel like there's a line between funny and
True.
true funny and anti-Semitic funny and I don't know. Like as a
demeaning.
Jew, I feel like I'd have to incorporate that somewhere in there. And being that like my thing, unfortunately, is that I drink a lot of wine. Would it be something along the lines of like, you know, I like what is that? The most interesting man in the world. Like I may not drink a lot of whatever, but then something along those lines.
But
So
when
like
I
I may not
do-
drink a lot of wine, but when I do,
I get wasted.
Like
to
I
make
don't
that.
know. I don't know.
To
It
add
is
the
something-
Jewish cultural
you just got to throw it in there that if you got something to say, you know, say it to my face.
My dog
and
is
it's
barking in
not
the
a good
background.
answer.
That wasn't Stephanie barking. That was my dog.
Just love the subtle l'chaim.
L'chaim.
I don't drink often, but when I do, l'chaim.
L'chaim.
That's actually a
L'chaim.
pretty good
L'chaim.
tagline. The taglines that I've heard of are pretty bad. They're
All the taglines are like, oh my god, like it's turtle time.
Do they realize
God.
how terrible they sound?
I think they're in the mindset of everything seems good to them because they came from a life of privilege and they don't know what struggle means. So when they say things like, it's turtle time, like, it's okay.
Or like, pretty can be super smart too.
I may not be the sharpest tool in the shed, but I'm the prettiest. It's like, oh no.
I'm the pretty one.
You'll never survive on your own.
Well, that's why they're on the show, right?
Correct. They need to endorse something that they're doing so that they can have some sort of life support when their husbands leave them.
Wasn't there like a mafia-esque mom who was just like
Caroline Manzo,
Yes.
New Jersey.
Yes, I think I would be like her.
Blood is thicker than water.
Yes.
And I'll cut you.
Yeah,
Something
I
along
would
those
definitely.
lines.
Mine would be something along the lines of like, "Don't mess with my family or friends, or you'll be messed with." It's a little dark, though.
I would like that to follow right after L'chaim.
I think that's the right move. It's like, I'm serious, but welcome.
Welcome. Don't mind this horse head in your dish.
Welcome, but I have some tools up in the back I'd love to show you.
I think mine would be like, where am I?
I thought your question would be, when am I?
When am I?
I like the idea of where am I? Like, I just woke up. Where am I?
I just woke up.
Who is
When
this
am
man? Who is this crew? Literally, where are my parents?
Where are my pants?
Please help me.
Where are my pants? Like, that's a frequently asked question. Why? Why?
How did I end up here?
I like the entire episode is either like us figuring out your amnesia or figuring out who like roofied you.
Oh my god.
It's a crime
So-
show now. It's
Now-
a mystery novel.
Can someone please do...
When am I?
What time is it?
Why is water wet?
I'm invited to these parties too at this reality show, and I'm always like, who are you?
But really, you're like from a different show set. So
I wear
it's
like a t-shirt and sweatpants. Are these my pants?
really, you've just walked off from an NCIS show as a victim.
Dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun.
Am I getting paid for this?
It's like the Lifetime stage is like right next door to filming.
Oh my god.
That's my tagline. All of the above.
When am I?
I would love to be the clueless person on these shows.
But it's like, I love the pan over. I like envision the panning over while they're like having some drama over Chardonnay and ice. And then it's just Patricia being like, when?
Who are you?
Does anybody have a calendar, for Christ's sakes?
Oh my god.
It's just like drama with the wives. What time is it?
Can I go home? Where is home? All right.
But it like pans over with the music clip like dun dun dun. When am I?
Why does that sound keep following me?
All right, let's pitch this idea to Netflix.
I can't. Sorry, you can't see, but there's a lot of laughing tears here.
There's a lot of crying
We
happening.
Clearly we've created a 5-season show, am I right? Next day, dun dun dun. Where is my shirt?
Is this my shirt? Why is it see-through?
Oh my god.
Okay. So, back to the show we were on. I've had friends on reality shows.
Of course you have.
And my friend Stephanie, a different Stephanie.
Oh, not the one that you just married off 10 minutes ago?
There can only
Not
be
the one we married off to my friend online. No. My other friend Stephanie was on a reality show. She's been on a couple of reality shows, actually. She was on the one recently where they, like, put you in that little ball, and then they, like, ask you all these, like, brain teaser questions.
Sounds horrible.
Yeah, I don't care what it was called. Like, mind something.
Was that actually a show, or did they just claim that it was?
Or was it just her in her home and she's like, this is my new show?
Welcome
When
to
am
Cribs! Who are you?
I'm in a
won.
ball.
It looks like I won today. No, but she was on this. She was also on the show Glass House, which is like Big Brother for ABC.
Oh, I've heard of that.
And it's only around for one season because I think they got sued for like Big Brother. It was like, oh, it's like
they
that show.
copied
Yeah.
the exact show.
But she was brought on the show to be the smart one. So
why do you say that in quotes about your friend?
Because it's kind of like Charlie's Angels. There's the smart one, the dumb one, and the pretty one, right?
I guess. Yeah.
Well, she's part of
She was
Mensa,
the
so like
smart one.
she's very smart, right? So it was really like, they're like, oh yeah, you're smart, you're pretty, we'll bring you on as like the smart one. So they brought her on, and she told me things like they'd take her into like the confession room, whatever, and they'd be like recording, and they'd say something smart. So she'd be like, you want me to say like E equals MC squared? But then you see the next commercial.
But isosceles triangle is.
But you would see the next commercial the next day, and it'd be like Stephanie in confession, like E equals MC squared.
Oh no.
And she's like, oh god.
Oh my gosh.
But that's gonna.
So
cool,
I
though.
don't want to be on that show.
No.
It's
Yeah.
not a reality show I want to be on.
I don't know what show I'd be on. Like, I hate the jungle because I hate snakes.
So
And
not naked and afraid.
I mean, I would be afraid and probably naked at that point, but
I'd already just be naked, but I don't want to also be afraid.
so when you try out for that show, you just show up naked?
I don't think that's how it works.
She comes to our audition just fully naked.
Where am I?
Oh god.
It's the same set
Oh,
down like
no.
Hollywood Lane.
Bum bum.
Boom, boom, boom.
Please somebody help me. Why is nobody helping me?
It's just every show.
Okay. Woo. Woo. Collecting ourselves. We've lost Stephanie. Stephanie.
Every
just-
single show.
I
It's just
fell
you change
into
every
these-
single channel, and she follows you. The sound clip. When is me?
What is me? Oh my god, why did that get so existential? She's trying to get home.
What is?
So the majority of this so far just been laughing, but that's okay.
Oh my god. Okay, we need answers.
Okay, I will give some answers. I don't think I would be good at this show, but I think it'd be really fun. What's that? Is it American Ninja or American Ninja Warrior?
Oh,
I would love to be on that show.
You'd
I have a
fucking
friend who's
kill
on
that
the-
show.
I would be terrible.
No, you wouldn't.
I
I
have
feel like inner strength would come out of nowhere.
so my thighs have incredible strength, but my arms, I don't know.
So you could swing on that rope pretty well.
Yeah,
Hands free.
yeah. I just flip over with my thighs, just hang on each monkey bar ring. That's my strategy. That's my strategy. Okay, so the second show I would want to be on is MasterChef. Because I
Ooh,
love me
yes.
some Gordon Ramsay. He's like a strict dad who knows his shit and is disciplined. And I love food. And to have a whole pantry where I could choose any ingredient, that's a dream.
And if you had to have a Real Housewives tagline,
Thighs. My strength is in my thighs.
thighs will choke
Just-
you.
Thighs will choke.
I'm
My
just
thighs
assuming.
will choke you. Good lord.
Did I speak from your heart?
You understood my soul?
Oh my god. Woo. We need to start with Stephanie's question more often.
We're all crying. Barely breathing.
Aside from my thighs will
Who sang that? Duncan Sheik was that the song?
Which
Barely
one?
breathing is
Oh,
by like
yeah.
Duncan Sheik or something like that.
Yeah,
we
my
should play
thighs
that.
will choke you. What?
Oh boy,
No.
Or when is me?
when is me?
All right.
Title of my autobiography.
All right.
Oh,
So-
moving on.
Moving on. So we had a really good time with that. Have a lot of tears and snorting. And you can't see our noses, but that's pretty disgusting too. So we're moving on to something else. Another interesting question, if I say so myself.
Bring it on.
I wanted to talk about What is the weirdest thing that a stranger has said to you, or a conversation that you've had with a stranger that's totally weird?
I have a good story about this.
I don't have too many good stories. I have one like iffy story where I was on an Muni transit train, and this guy got up and just yelled at me that I was oppressing him, and I'm not entirely sure where that came from. I think it was because I was white.
Hold on, we're gonna take a break a second. Ashley is just losing.
She just spit out everything just from me like speaking.
Ashley's losing liquid out of her face.
I'm just laughing so hard, and when I laugh, I can't control my body when I'm laughing.
Can't control the volume of my voice.
Sorry, keep going, Steph.
No, that was kind of like I can't pinpoint an interaction where something was super strange that somebody had said to me. But I remember being on this train and having somebody say that I'm oppressing them as a white person, and me internally being like, but I'm a minority. And like not being able to say that because I'm white and like it's not outwardly seen, and it is what it is. So I just dealt with it.
Yeah, that's pretty awkward.
Yeah, what are you gonna do? It's fine.
How about you, Patricia?
Okay, so I have a story that I think fits into this question. So when I was 4, my family took a trip to Disneyland, to California, and we went to Disneyland the first day and to Universal Studios the next day. And the second day, I was wearing my Mickey Mouse ears in Universal. I don't think you're supposed to anymore, but it had my name on it, so it said Patty, because that's what I went by as a kid. And my mom was like, I guess, like, we're from Nebraska, so we didn't really know the rules of, like, hey, you can let your kids wander free in California, you know? But my mom's like, I gotta go to the bathroom. And I was
Is
like...
that a Nebraskan accent?
That's
I
Nebraska.
wasn't sure.
Yeah. She's like, I gotta go to the bathroom, kid.
Oh my
So she's like, stand over here against this trailer and, like, put your hands, like, on the wall, you know? Like, just stay there. Don't move. I'll be right back. I gotta go to the bathroom. So she goes into the bathroom. There's, like, a line. She can kind of see me before she's going in. But I was just sitting there, like, you know, being a good kid. I was a really, like, goody two-shoes kid. And next to me, this guy came over and stood next to me. And I was like, you know, kind of creeped out. Excuse me. Still losing it from our earlier conversation. But this guy comes over and he's like, what are you doing over here by yourself, Patty?
Creepy.
And I looked up at him, and he had this nose that was like 2 inches away from his face. Like, it was so long. And I was like,
not long.
And I was like, just staring at me like a 4-year-old, like, just stares at you. And I was just staring at him. I was like, what in the world is happening? Is this guy so creepy? He's like, where's your mom, Patty?
Oh my gosh.
And I'm like, back,
You're
she's
going
right
home
over
with
there.
me,
And
Patty.
he goes, you better go find your mom. And I was like, oh, okay. And like, shortly after, like, he was smoking a cigar. Like, he was just kind of, he was nice, but he was kind of ominous to me at that point. And I was like, it's a little creepy, but I was not, like, in fear. Like, I feel like he was, like, standing there watching him over me, making sure my mom was going to come back and get me. But my mom, then, you know, like, a minute later, came out of the bathroom, found me. She grabbed my hand, we walked off. No big deal. Later in life, I was watching movies with some of my friends in college, and one of my friends was like, oh, I got this movie you gotta watch. It's Roxanne, you know, with, like, Steve Martin in it. And I was like, okay. I started watching it, and it hit me, and I was like, that's the man who talked to me at Universal Studios when I was a kid. I'm pretty sure, like, almost certain that Steve Martin was filming the movie Roxanne, stepped out of his trailer to smoke a cigar, and I was hanging onto his trailer while my mom went to the bathroom.
Crazy.
Do you have any proof of that?
I don't, but my memory. We talked before, like, your memory's, like, partially made up, whatever, but, like,
right, totally.
As soon as we saw that, I was like, that is the man from one of my first memories ever of some guy asking where my mom was.
Oh,
I was remembering
Steve
Mickey Mouse.
Martin.
Crazy. Not
So-
a bad one.
I
love
think
Steve
it's kind of
Martin.
cool. I mean, I'll take that stranger danger any day.
Where
I don't
am
know if I agree with that blanket statement. It's a
Whatever.
little scary.
So it may not have been him. It could have been some weirdo with a long, like, Roxanne nose, but whatever. I think it was Steve
The
Martin.
pronounced nose and the questions and where you were at indicates it could have been filmed, but it could have also been Megan's Law.
What?
Do you know Megan's Law?
No.
That's like sex offenders registered in your areas type
Oh.
of situation.
Well, we were at Universal Studios. I was hanging onto
Where
a
that hit
trailer,
the
and this
hardest.
guy had a nose sticking out of his face, like, a few inches extra.
I can envision Steve Martin saying that and like saying your name multiple times like that.
Yes.
I would like
Feels
to think it is
it's-
Steve Martin and not
I
a
think
sex
we're-
offender.
I think we're gonna remember it as Steve Martin.
I remember
think
it as
that's the
Steve
Steve
consensus.
Martin it is.
It
Yeah,
is.
done.
Hey,
Steve,
Steve,
rules.
Ding, ding, ding.
Steve, if you're listening
Ding,
to this,
ding.
I remember you from back in the day, Steve.
If you ever want to be on our podcast, we'll put you on the wait list.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, boy.
You'll be
just
top
kidding,
of the
you're
list,
best.
though. Top of the wait list.
Top of the wait list, and there's no one else even after that. Okay.
Dun, dun.
Thank you. I needed
You're
that.
welcome.
So yeah, let me think. For my weirdest stranger conversation, it was up when I was living in Washington, and I was taking the bus to see my man. And I had to go through
my
this sort of I had to go through this dodgy sort of area. I don't know why I said dodgy. That's very European.
There is nothing in Seattle that's dodgy.
Like between after the ID when you're taking the bus, there's like between downtown and the ID. I forget Pioneer Square. It used to be scary.
Pioneer Square
People
was
would get
dodgy,
knifed.
but then it got really cool.
Yeah, it took a long time because
It
people
got cool
still
if
got
you're
knifed.
dodgy.
There are plenty of places when my friend moved up there and she's like, "Oh, this this broker showed me this apartment. Should I live there?" And I was like, "No, last week someone was knifed."
But that's everywhere in San Francisco.
This is Seattle.
This is Seattle.
I know, but I'm just saying, like, that's what people said about Georgetown, and Georgetown turned out to be, like, the coolest area to live in.
Fair.
So I'm taking the bus, and I always like to sit near the bus driver. I feel safer, especially when I'm going through weird areas.
And Ashley has a thing for bus drivers.
Oh yeah, all day, day. So I'm So I'm sitting there. This guy comes onto the bus, and I have my earphones in, and I'm trying not to engage. I'm trying to have the "don't fucking talk to me" face.
The passive, you have your music playing super loud, but I don't want to deal with you.
Exactly.
That's also my
Exactly.
resting face.
That's absolutely not true. She's one of the like cheeriest people ever. Except when you don't blink.
Except
you
when she looks like a crazy
sociopath.
Wow.
So I'm there, and I clearly feel his eyes just like trying to engage. And it's you know that moment where you're like, if I don't engage, is that going to offend you more? And if I do engage, will it be bad? So I'm like, he's trying to talk to me. So then he waves his hand in front of me. I'm like, fuck, I have to engage.
You can't not. Yeah.
Exactly. So he's like, "Hey, mama," and I'm like, "Hi."
Papa.
I definitely did not say Papa. So he's like, "Those are real nice shoes you're wearing." And I was working at a very conservative company then, at a fashion company, and I was wearing high heels. And he's like, "Those are real nice shoes. Do you have a lot of those shoes?" And I was like, yeah, I have shoes." And I was trying to be like super dry. He's like, "Mama, what shoe size do you wear?"
Oh my god.
And I'm like, "Oh no."
Mhm.
I'm like, definitely foot fetish guy. That's what I call him. So and I was like,
I wear size 24 shoes.
well, not that far. I'm a shoe size 11. That's pretty big.
Me too.
Not
Saying. Just saying.
So then he's like, "Ooh, mama, that's beautiful." And I was like, "Oh no." And he's like, "So you wear these types of shoes a lot then?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Mama, you got kids?" And this was over, maybe it was about 10 years ago. And I was like, "Yeah, I have 4 of them," hoping this would be a deterrent, right?
Oh no.
No, it lit that fire. He's like, "Mama, you looking good for 4 kids?" And I was like, no. Anyways, net, I told my man at that point, I was like, "I am never busing to you again. I never want to see foot fetish guy." So that was one of my strangest moments with a stranger.
Stranger danger.
That was definitely stranger
Was
danger.
it Steve Martin?
If it was from the movie Jerk, from the first
Oh,
statement that he
good
said,
movie.
That takes me back.
yeah.
Can I say, okay, so not the most awkward of conversations, but definitely the most, like, interesting of conversations. I've had a couple of men tell me, "You make me wish I weren't in a relationship."
Ooh,
How do you take that as a
Well,
person?
I don't like that they're saying that, because then what are they saying about the woman that they're
What
with?
are they saying about the woman that they're with? What are they saying about you knowing that you were unsure of if they were even taken?
Yeah.
And is this a deterrent? Like, all the situations just doesn't make it seem like a solid situation for something to tell me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like that.
I've
That's
had
weird.
a couple of those where I'm like, why would you even feel the need to say that to me? I've done nothing to entice you. I'm just being weird over here. And you feel the need to say, You make me wish I weren't in a
You
relationship.
make me wish I weren't married on the internet 10 minutes ago.
Unfortunately, I am now married
You
as of what time is it now? We're like 20 minutes into this relationship, girl. I'm deep into this relationship.
You gotta ask. I want you to ask the person next time to be like, what does that even mean?
Well, this goes back to last conversation of, do you confront or do you just play the apathy card?
Confront. Why? Because there's no danger in that.
I feel like there's danger in everything.
How? So some guy comes up to you and is like, you make me feel like, think about if I wasn't married, whatever. And you say, hey, what the hell does that mean?
I guess it depends on where you are when this is said to you.
I mean, where are you?
When am I?
When am
This
I?
has happened
Who
to
is
me.
Who
This
is
is
me?
Where am I? This has happened to me on a train. This has happened to me in a friend's house. This has happened to me more often than I'd like to admit.
This happened when I was at the
It
White
turns
House.
out I'm the one that
Joe
men
Biden.
would.
Yeah.
Ugh.
What I'm hearing from the amount of times I'm hearing this from is that I'm the person you would cheat on your wife with.
That is terrible.
And I'm not cool with it, y'all.
So maybe they're
I
playing
ain't no
the,
mistress.
maybe they're playing the murder, fuck, kill, or murder. Sorry,
Yeah.
murder, marry,
Fuck.
fuck.
Yeah, you
game.
got it right.
And they had to just go tell you instead, and you're like, "Listen, you are my you're my fuck," and then you're like, "Okay,
Okay, but no thanks.
I don't like that.
I don't need.
I don't like that. That's so skeezy.
Seriously, every time I've been told this, it's been in a very weird situation where I'm just like,
So-
no.
So I'll give it to you. I think it depends on the situation. If you're on a train and you're like, man, I'm about to be on this train for 3 hours. If I engage further,
Well, it's
then
not
you'll
even
make
3
it worse.
hours. It's just like, this is not a super filled out train, and I don't know what you have versus what I have, and I'm just trying to get there in one piece.
True. But if it's at a friend's house, like clearly there's probably a few connections in between.
But then
right?
why feel the need to say that to me? What difference would that have made? I have never once expressed like, oh, I want to date you. Oh, we should go out. Like, I've never expressed anything other than just being my weird self.
But I
And
think,
if that entices you, then that entices you. Why do you need to tell me that?
but I think in the friend situation, that's when you should call that shit out. Because that's not right. Because likely his wife is friends with, or his girlfriend, whatever,
Yeah.
is either there or friends with people who are there, which is all sorts of messed up.
I don't like confrontation.
Next time, bring me.
I know, seriously. Seriously, I don't
these
want to
my
deal with that shit.
pants?
These my pants. We're taking a break now for Patricia's questions.
Sorry. Yes, yes, these are my pants. My name is stapled to them.
I don't know what's
What?
happening. I think, anywho, so stranger danger is real. Creepy guys are creepy ass guys. And I think we got to move on to our next question.
Know when to pick your battles.
Yeah, that's the truth.
Okay, well, I'm the last question asker for today. So my question is one that I actually stole from Reddit because I love it. So I wanted to bring it to you guys. So the question is, what did you think you were really good at until you watched someone else do it?
Okay.
What did you think? And you can't just say sex.
No.
That's my answer.
I have a really sad response to begin with.
Oh.
I really wanted to be a veterinarian when I grew up because I super loved animals, but I am a very shaky person. I have essential tremors. My hands shake constantly. And so when I saw my primary doctor when I was like 13, 14, something like that, with the mindset of like, I'm going to be a veterinarian, he told me, oh, I hope you don't plan on ever being a surgeon with those hands.
Oh, F you too, doctor.
I know. So it just ruined every dream I ever had. And then I had to completely reevaluate my entire life.
What if you did like macro surgeries? See, like,
Or-
I can place your head back on.
Oh my God.
That's
No. But knowing that I
terrible
didn't
and
have steady hands, I would
horribly
never
specific.
I would never put any sort of instrument towards any living being. And so I was just like, fuck, okay, what do I like?
Fair.
And so when I grew up, I, to this day, I have a lot of really bad insomnia. It's just what I do. And so I watch a lot of TV. And so when I was really young, kind of plays into what I do now, but I watched a lot of TV and watched a lot of commercials and thought about, why is this being shown to me right now? What is interesting about this? Me as a, 7, 8, 9, 10-year-old watching TV at 2 a.m. and I'm seeing this really ridiculous commercial for some like either infomercial or some like arthritis medication. How did they know to target this to me? And so I became very fascinated with commercials, which is where I ended up being today in advertising. So in some weird way, it kind of worked out, him telling me like, you're never going to be good at being a surgeon in any which way or form.
Oh.
And me being like, well, I like TV and commercials.
Quick question.
Well, this do.
How did you have a TV that you could watch at 2 a.m. as a child?
I had a TV in my room.
Whoa.
Like a cable and everything?
Yeah, I had full cable. I watched when, this is really unfortunate, I'm really sorry for this. I had watched the whole thing when Princess Diana got into into the accident. Like, I had seen all of that. I was very, very young.
Yeah.
But I saw all of that. I had a TV in my room.
That's crazy.
Wow.
Yeah, I kind of grew up with TV a bit, which could be a detriment, could be a help, because it got me to where I am today, and
That's
I
true.
don't feel like it did anything to me impactfully in the way I learned. Like, I did fine in school, I did fine everything else, so if that just helped me because my parents either knew I had crazy insomnia or whatever it was, and they're like, this will keep her out of our room.
Wah, wah. I didn't get a TV till I was like in 7th grade, and it had no cable. It had like fuzzy PBS and fuzzy like Fox.
Oh, man.
And it wasn't even like, it was supposed to be in color, but it was so fuzzy that it looked kind of black and white. So I could watch like Bananas in Pajamas and The Simpsons.
Bananas in Pajamas.
Man, you guys are pretty fancy. We weren't
So
allowed.
fancy.
We didn't have TVs in our room. There was like a TV in the living room that we were allowed to watch. We had limited TV time, and really it was only on Fridays for TGIF.
Oh,
For Family
love
Matters.
TGIF.
Oh, you
So-
shut your face. Oh
That
my
was like,
God.
Family Matters, Step
Boy
by
Meets
Step,
World.
Boy Meets World. What
Full
else?
House.
Oh yeah, Full House.
That's where my DJ name came from.
What's your DJ name?
So my first name is Stephanie. My middle name is Michelle. The only Tanner sister missing is DJ. So it follows
Ooh.
DJ, Stephanie, Michelle. It's in order. That's my DJ name.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah.
But the fact that it takes explanation makes it less exciting.
It's
You
a
should
little
just
bit
be
more
DJ Stephanie
prescriptive.
Michelle Tanner. They'd get it then.
Yeah, because that's not a really long DJ name.
That's way too long of a DJ name.
Yeah, it's like a
You
whole
shut your
sentence.
mouth.
It's a whole
Shut your
sentence.
mouth.
She might
How
as well
rude.
you you might as well read a limerick and be like, "That's my DJ name."
Just every time before a set, let me explain to you the
Yeah.
entire epitome. What is it? I can't even say it.
I know what you're saying.
Welcome to the stage, DJ Stephanie Michelle Tanner.
But I need to give the entire background of how it came to be, and then everybody's just lost. Then they can't even dance after I start my set.
They're like, when does the music start? She's still going.
Why is she still talking about Full House?
Where's she asking
What
where
time
she is?
is it?
And how did she get into
what
haiku?
year is this?
When is me?
What is me?
Where's the VCR?
It's like she's on a stage. It's like, what is happening? This is supposed to be a concert.
Just let her have her thing. She'll be done in a minute.
They bring up the house lights.
Are they booing me off the stage already?
With the old timesy cane. They're like, where did
Let
they
me
get
tell y'all about a time. I just assumed that the cane is me with a cane and then a just separate cane that pulls me off the stage.
Yeah, it's clearly an elongated
Or you-
cane, like Looney Tunes.
Or like you pull yourself
Yes.
off.
Oh, yeah.
I hate to cut myself out here, but I gotta go.
Then you get into your
Best
timesy.
DJ ever.
Meanwhile, everyone's like, and she never played?
Never played anything. No, that's a lie. It's just gonna be Vanilla Ice over and over and over again.
Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun,
Or
dun.
maybe it's just the beginning, like, music of, like, a bunch of murder mystery shows. Those are the songs
I
that
was
you
about
mix.
to say, actually, it should be the beginning of Step by Step.
Oh. I mean, how...
When they're
everyone
about to
knows
go
the
down
lyrics.
the Colossus, it doesn't make sense because it's near a beach. None of that scenery made sense. I just want to say it didn't work.
Oh, man. Family Matters. That was a good show.
What a set
I wasn't
that
allowed to
would
watch
be,
these
though.
shows.
Huh?
I wasn't allowed to watch most of these shows as a kid.
Not even Family Matters?
No, I could watch Boy Meets World.
Why Boy Meets World and not Family Matters? I don't understand.
Is it the replacement of the youngest daughter?
I was just my family.
That's what happened in Boy Meets World.
That's right.
We just didn't really have like I was a very busy child, like the only child, so my parents were like, you got to play a team sport, an individual sport, and take a music class.
Wow.
And
I know that shit too.
yeah, but I was never home, so I didn't really watch shows until I was like, I got home, like Boy Meets World was on, and watch that, and then go to bed.
Interesting. I did all of those things as well. I played clarinet terribly.
Oh, I played clarinet. It was my first second instrument.
But we'll watch TGIF and would call like Full House the Michelle Show, thinking that made more sense than the Stephanie Show, even though there was I don't know what I was thinking with that one. Nobody corrected me. I think they were just like, let's just see where this pans out.
I called it the Joey Show.
Fair. There's
I never really
let's
liked
see
it
how
very
this
much.
goes as
I
an
didn't really
adult.
care for it either.
It was all about Family Matters, and then after that, the programming was like,
Family Matter was not my favorite.
what? How could it not be? The
I
Winslow
really
family.
like Step by Step, and I
Are
really
you a
like Full
monster?
House.
Listen, Boy Meets World was the best because was it Ryder Strong? Is that what his name was? He was like his
Oh,
best
he was
friend.
so hot.
I was like, yes,
he
baby,
was
come
so hot.
here.
I also really liked what's his face's older brother.
Oh, yes, Will something, right?
That's right.
He was hot.
How about Mr.
Home-
Feeney?
No.
You know, I appreciate Mr. Feeney very much at the end because all the
Yeah,
lessons he taught,
yeah.
you're like, you're the one I should have ended up with.
Except, how are you always 95 years old? Even till today, he pretty much looks the same.
Is he still alive?
I don't know.
Oh,
Let's move on from
no.
that.
So,
Oh,
what about like
no.
Home Improvement?
Oh,
yeah.
you shit your
JTT.
face, JTT. So my brother was friends with JTT.
What?
Oh my god.
What we talked about what celebrities we know just like an hour ago.
But
before
this was
pod.
like for as much as I can remember, probably not more than a couple of months.
Oh my
I honestly
God.
don't know much more than that because I was never good at prying. But yes,
JTT was
my
my
brother
first-
my middle brother was friends with JTT, I think for a very short amount of time because of where I lived growing up, which was just east of Malibu, and that's where a lot of celebrities like tried to live so they wouldn't be in the Hollywood scene.
Let
To
me
be
tell
said,
you,
I ran into Charlie Sheen constantly.
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 At the CVS in Westlake. Yeah, it was bullshit.
Listen, JTT was the celeb I had a crush on when I was coming into my womanhood.
when I
What does
decided
that
I
mean?
liked
Can we
men.
talk about? Let's unpack that.
Let's not unpack that.
I think you unpacked it.
I mean-
I'm not a mover. I'm a
What I
shaker.
really enjoyed about JTT is that everybody super loved him as a teenager until they realized he wasn't growing any more than he grew.
He was on Smallville, like in the early 2000s.
Pun
and I still
intended.
thought he was so.
Oh, no.
No,
She
I
said
still thought
that.
he was so hot. I don't care how short he is. I would still take him.
Oh,
That's fair. He had a great
Anyway,
face.
anyway.
I never had a crush on him.
Oh, I had so many posters. There was a poster of him with his like medium length hair and just overalls and no t-shirt underneath and like a puka shell
I
necklace.
think I remember that one. Did
Oh
he
my
have
God.
that like
Okay,
weird
I,
hairstyle? The 2M like
Yes, the
arch?
McDonald's.
Oh
Yes.
yeah, the like
Arches.
bowl cut. I had an entire inside of my closet filled with like men that I was super into, which basically just consisted of like JGT, Seth Green, and AJ from Backstreet Boys.
Oh, yeah.
Inside of my closet.
And
I'm like,
AJ.
this is my secret
She's
spot.
in
And
the
my parents were
closet.
like, you're an idiot.
Stephanie's
We've
in the
known all
closet with
about
his celebs.
this.
Why AJ?
Why?
Because he seemed like the bad boy.
Because he was the bad boy. Because he dry humped on stage once in a concert, and I was like, yes, that one.
Stephanie
Be
tried
mine.
she
Be
tried to me
mine.
back.
Only to realize later in the day that Kevin was the real MVP of that group.
It's true.
Okay, I had a crush on Lance Bass from NSYNC.
No, you didn't.
Were you me growing up? Only going for the gay men?
I think it's because you know when you're with a group of friends in high school or like younger, junior high, I guess. You're like everyone's like an NSYNC fan. And everyone kind of claims the guy that they like. Everyone's all over
I like
JT.
JC. Yeah, I like JC.
Everyone was all
not
over
Justin
JC,
Timberlake,
Chazé,
JC.
but they all had like their
'Cause
ones,
he
and like
was
nobody
Jewish.
was giving love to Lance. I was like, yeah, if they came here and they just chose girls, I'd be the one in line for Lance, and I'd get him. You know, I don't know.
Is
I
this
know
a
that that's
probability
absolutely
play?
true.
Or like, of
I
the-
was like doing the stats, you know. I was like, listen, Lance is mine, okay?
That's true. I had a friend who was really into like Chris, and I'm like, who?
I don't even remember.
Which one?
He wore like the do-rag sometimes.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
The white guy with the do-rag.
That happened.
Oh, Courtney, what were you thinking?
Courtney.
Oh, I'm naming her. Not her last name, but that she was the one who was into Chris.
Oh,
When I
that
was like,
girl.
no, what? What?
So
What?
anyway, we had a question originally that I posed to us,
Oh.
which was, what did you think you're really good at until you watched someone else do it?
Well, not that I watched. I was just told I'd be a bad veterinary surgeon.
Fair.
And then everything else, I just figured would be the rest of that question. Turns out I'm not great at things.
Turns out you're not good at saving
God,
animals.
not true.
I can't save animals. No, I don't know.
Ashley, what about you?
I'm trying to think. I played a lot of sports growing up. Okay, yeah, so I remember I played soccer for a really, really long time, and then our team started traveling a lot. Even like under I think we were 12 or 13 or something like that, and we traveled to Mexico for this soccer tournament. And man, did those kids put us in our place. Like, we thought we were amazing, we were winning trophies, blah blah blah. Mexico, they crushed us. They ate us for breakfast. It wasn't even breakfast. They ate us like a snack protein bar before they worked out.
Oh.
It was
then
incredible.
they can burn you off right away too.
But they
Shut
were
you
so
out.
nice. There's a couple like cultural things that were so nice. Like after a game, you exchange something. So we would
The pins?
exchange scrunchies.
Oh.
And I thought it was a really nice gesture. But anyways, that was a very humbling
Were
experience.
they just a collector of scrunchies and you just had none?
Well,
at
I
the
mean,
end?
is it weird that they asked to cut a little piece of my hair and put it in a bag too?
They seen a little bit of hair.
Yeah, and
in
they
the
smelled
scrunchie.
it too, right? Yeah.
Then
Yeah,
they'd
seems
brush their
right.
faces.
Yeah,
with
and
their
they took a
ponytails.
Polaroid picture of me while they cut the hair and put it in a bag. I don't know.
Oh no, we had a team like that beat us, but they were from Yankton, South Dakota.
Yankton.
And who would have thought a team from South Dakota could crush another team that we were like a state team, but they just came in there and were like, you guys are peasants, and just walked all over us. It was like 12-0. It was the most embarrassing game I ever
Oh
played in my
my
life.
gosh.
We were like, I was like 12 at the time too. But we were like a team that we kept winning tournaments. We were doing pretty
Mhm.
well. Then they're like, hey, we're going to travel to South Dakota for a tournament. We get there and this team is like, are you guys even at the right tournament? Like, it was
Oh,
so bad.
What a blow.
They
I feel
ended
like-
up winning, but
I feel like this kind of bleeds into is participants or oh my gosh, I can't even speak.
participation
trophies.
trophies.
Oh,
Yeah,
no
like
way.
our just being here. Do you get something? Is that even applicable
No.
anymore?
We never got things
It's
for
a pity
playing.
award.
we didn't growing up, and now just being a part of something
But
gives
us
you a
as-
trophy.
But we're
I think
still
that's-
blamed
well-
as millennials. Like, we're all millennials. We're blamed for getting those in our lives. I'm like,
I
no,
never got
I never got
Participation
those.
trophies.
I
But,
never got
you
those.
know-
I feel like I have a few participation trophies from like gymnastics.
I'm giving you guys both
I
a
barely
trophy.
remember being in gymnastics, but I have trophy. Was I ever in gymnastics?
I was
What is a
for
memory?
3 lessons.
What is a memory?
Oh, man.
I was in gymnastics for 3 lessons.
You know,
Three lessons?
3
Just
lessons. Like,
is
3
that like
gymnastic classes.
a weekly thing? Because I had like years.
No, I went like 3 times.
Oh, I had a couple of years, and the trophies of me doing something doing a handstand.
They were trying to make me do a backwards roll on the
Yeah.
ground, and my body wasn't doing it. So they're like shoving my legs over my head.
Oh, my
God.
God.
And I was like just laying there, and my legs were like stuck into the ground, and I just wouldn't roll over. And I was crying, like I was
Oh my
crying into my
God.
stomach, basically, because my legs were like
Jesus.
upside
Yeah.
down. And they're like, just do it, just go ahead, like just let it happen. And I'm like, no,
my
this is
God.
unnatural.
I feel like I was like in gymnastics. I was just like thrown every which way because I was like tall-ish but
Mhm.
lanky. I hadn't developed yet, so I could just be like thrown in whatever direction you want to throw me in. And I was like, land it, and like got a trophy.
So I gotta say, before I wrap it up, my one thing that I thought I'd be good at is I used to play piano as a kid. I started taking lessons when I was like 5 or 4, I don't know, really young. And I would enter these competitions that were like hymn playing competitions.
Oh yeah.
Don't ask me how. I think I mentioned before,
Interesting.
I grew up in a very conservative household and religious household. So I was entered into these hymn playing competitions. So part of it was you'd play whatever hymn they gave you from like a hymnal by sight. Second one is you play one like while people sang with you. And so my piano teacher's like, I want you to go like watch one before we, do this, and before you enter, so you know what you're doing. So I went to this competition, and I watched this girl just rocking out these hymns like crazy, and she was a year younger than me. She was like 7 and I was 8, and she was just like going to town, and I was like, that's it. I can never be as good as I thought I was at piano, because
I will never be a concert pianist.
I will never be an accompanist at a church. I was so disheartened, because I was like, and still to this day, whenever I see a hymnal, I'm like, I'm not good enough. I'm not good enough.
To this
Sarah,
day.
her name was Sarah in Nebraska.
Fuck you, Sarah, Nebraska.
What you can't see is Sarah's picture is on the wall with darts in her face.
Straight in the eyes.
Still to
And
this
it's not
day.
the adult picture, it's the child picture. Not creepy.
But the darts
at
are in
all.
her fingers.
Wait, so it's a full body photo? I was just thinking of a
You
shot.
haven't taken a good look at it.
Now.
All right. That's a good way to wrap up our conversation for today. Thank you guys if you've been here throughout, and thank you for putting up with our constant laughing and crying. I feel like we got a lot of calories burnt today, so I hope you did too. And thank you for making it through episode 3. We'll be back next Monday with another episode number 4.
Get ready for those questions.
Get ready with your
What?
questions. Be sure to go to iTunes, give us a
Seriously,
5-star
what?
rating,
Who?
and
Where?
visit us at WTFAQpodcast.com, or also check out our Instagram, WTFAQ.podcast. And we will see you guys next week.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.